Welcome to this hair transplant progress update video. My name is Richard and I'm currently 13 months after my hair transplant, which I had back in October 2019. So it's been a long time since I've done my last video. I was actually feeling kind of strange not doing these weekly videos because I was so used to do them, for the first year of my transplant. But for now, I'll try to make monthly videos because I feel like I miss doing these videos. So anyway, I hope you guys are okay. We're back in lockdown number 2 in UK up until December, early December by the looks of it. As far as my hair transplant goes, it's been pretty good in general. There's some scenarios in which it looks pretty shockingly bad, but on normal day-to-day basis, when my hair is brushed, it looks okay. Now, there's several things I noticed that I wanted to share with everyone. One is that it's still remaining relatively thin. So if I zoom in on my hair, this is all the transplanted hair, but it still looks kind of like, especially around here, and I guess the same on the other side. It still looks kind of fairly see-through in a way, but I guess maybe that will self-resolve with time. I guess before we move on, let's do a quick 360 so I can show you what it looks like back, front, etc. I haven't had a haircut in a while, so it's probably a little bit longer than I normally would keep it. So as you can see, certainly from the sides, it's not really noticeable that I've had a hair transplant because, well, nothing was done on the sides. If you look at the back where the donor area was, it doesn't look really any different than it used to look before. The hair seems to have fully recovered, if I could say that. And obviously, if you look from the top, I still got that terrible bald patch there, but front on you can't see it, so who cares what people can see from top. Okay, so now I wanted to share a couple of things about the recovery and what it all feels like. So as the hair is getting longer, and I'm probably not going to keep it this long in future, because I've noticed that because it's transplanted hair, and obviously there's the density and like the gaps between the individual's hairs is a lot bigger than what it is naturally. So for example, here, the gaps between the hairs is a lot closer than where it's been transplanted. Now, obviously, as a result, the density looks a lot different. It looks a lot thinner where it's been transplanted. And the way you get past that is through length of your hair. Now, if your hair is very short, the gaps between the hairs stand out a lot more. Whereas when it gets a little bit longer, it kind of overlays each other and makes it look a little bit better. So normally I would have some hair covering my forehead just to mask the fact that I've got a gigantic forehead. But that aside, so my personal features aside, so what I wanted to say, now that it's got a little bit longer and I've not been able to get to the hairdressers because of the lockdown, what I've noticed is the longer it gets, it actually makes it look worse than it does when it's a little bit shorter. You start to get into the stage where if you do what I was saying and you end up, getting your hair to overlay slightly and give some false density to your hairline, it works fine when your hair is slightly short, but when it gets longer, it starts to look more and more like a comb over, and then it doesn't really look that nice. And if you don't do it, it looks really, really thin. So then you're kind of stuck with either having like really thin looking hair or like really comb overy looking hair. Let me show you what I mean. So going back to my super brush. Now, if I brush my hair down, okay, naturally I got quite thin hair anyway, but not this thin. So as you can see, let me go more in the light. Okay, so as you can see, the scalp at the front here shines through quite a lot, especially like if it's not evenly brushed, right? If anything goes to one side or another, it's quite noticeably thin, right? In the same way, if I brush it over, if I brush it like this, it looks a little bit thicker, but the problem is because the hairs themselves are longer, it's now starting to look like a weird comb over, right? So that, I don't particularly like that. But at the moment, because the hairdressers are closed, there's not much I can do about it. But I think once everything opens up, I will cut it a little bit shorter, because I remember when it was last month, for example, and I cut my hair and it was fairly short. It actually looked better than when it's a little bit longer. That's just my kind of personal opinion on it. And also the other thing is with the transplant hair, I don't know if it's gonna look good when it goes long for a while anyway. I think it needs to mature and get out of this weird Tintin looking thing that it just like sticks in the air, right? But yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm still pleased with my results. But yeah, overall, I think I'm still fairly happy with the transplant and the way it's recovering. It can always be better, of course, but for now, it is good. It's better than it used to be. Definitely thicker than it used to be before the transplant. In terms of my supplements and stuff, daily routines, that's all gone out the window now. I've completely given up on my daily routine once I hit the 1 year. It's probably not a good thing, and I should get back on the multivitamins and everything else. I've just had a bit of a nasty cough cold for the past couple of weeks. Hopefully nothing COVID related, but still that kind of kept me a little bit more lazy than I normally am, a bit less active. In terms of shampoos, I still use the same argan oil biotin shampoo that the clinic gave for me, and I think once that completely runs out, I will find something that has similar contents and that's available online, because I quite like the shampoo. I think it works quite well. I don't know if it makes any difference for my hair, but given all the contents that are in it, it can't harm. It definitely must be good for my scalp. But yeah, I don't really take any supplements, anything else for the hair growth, because I think it's just doing okay on its own for now. But yes, I hope you all guys are doing really, really well. I hope your hair transplant recoveries are going well for those who have had a hair transplant. If you have had a hair transplant and you do have some questions, feel free to fire them off at this video. I'll always do my best to answer whatever questions you have. And I'll see you guys probably, I don't know, in a month or so, unless something weird happens. I'll probably see you guys before Christmas or around Christmas time. Anyway, take care. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.